Hey, Falcons fans! Look, I know what you're thinking right now. I know the pain is still fresh from Sunday night. I know you're looking at that 20-10 final score and wondering what the hell just happened to our momentum. But hold up, because what I'm about to break down for you goes way deeper than just a bad loss in the Bay Area. See, there are three critical things that happened in this game that nobody in the mainstream media is connecting the dots on. And one of them is so controversial, so game-changing, that when I show you the evidence, you're gonna lose your mind. We've got a questionable coaching decision that's becoming a disturbing pattern. We've got a defensive breakdown that exposed our biggest weakness moving forward. And we've got a flat-out robbery by the officials that was so blatant, even the league's own rules analyst had to call it out on national television. But here's what gets me fired up, and why you need to stick with me through this entire breakdown. There's actually a winner that emerged from this disaster. Someone who proved they belong in the conversation as an elite weapon in this league. And if we build around what that performance showed us, we might have just discovered the blueprint for the rest of this season. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into the chaos, the controversy, and the one shining light from Monday night in San Francisco. But listen, if you want the truth that the media won't tell you, if you want the real analysis that could change how you see this entire season, then you need to do something right now. Smash that like button like you're smashing through a 49ers defensive line. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell, because I'm about to expose something that only 1% of viewers will actually see unless you take action right now. This breakdown doesn't stop here, and neither should you. Let's build the smartest, most diehard Falcons community on YouTube together. Now let's go. Let's start with the elephant in the room, and I'm not holding back on this one. Raheem Morris has a problem, and it's getting worse. This is now the second time this season his team has come out flat after an emotional primetime victory. Remember that embarrassing loss to Carolina? Yeah, that wasn't a fluke. This is becoming a pattern. Now, I respect Coach Morris. I love the energy he brings. But champions don't lay eggs like this. Champions don't come off back-to-back wins against playoff-caliber teams and then sleepwalk through a Monday night game. That's not championship DNA, Falcons Nation. That's inconsistency we cannot afford. Here's what's killing me: the 20-10 score actually makes this look closer than it was. If you watched that game, you know it felt like we were never really in it. The energy was off from the opening kickoff. The preparation looked suspect. And the adjustments? What adjustments? When your offensive line goes from paving the way for almost 9 yards per carry 1 week to less than 3 yards per carry the next week, that's not just player execution. That's preparation. That's game planning. That's coaching. And you know what might be the most telling stat? We won't play another primetime game until week 15. Part of me thinks that might be a blessing in disguise, because we clearly haven't figured out how to handle the emotional roller coaster of these big stage games. Speaking of that offensive line, we need to talk about what happened in the trenches, because it was ugly. Last week, our guys were absolutely mauling defenders. Our franchise running back was averaging nearly 9 yards every time he touched the ball. The quarterback had time to make reads, step into throws, survey the field. It looked like we finally found our identity up front. Then we go to San Francisco, and it's like they forgot how to block. 2.9 yards per carry for our star running back. 2.9. That's not just bad, that's historically bad for what we know this offense can do. You can't establish any rhythm when you're constantly facing 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7 situations all night long. But the run blocking was actually the least of our problems. In pass protection, it was a complete disaster. Our young quarterback, and we'll get to his performance in a minute, had defenders at his feet all night long. Edge rushers screaming off the blind side. Interior pressure collapsing the pocket. The kid had about 1.5 seconds to make decisions on most dropbacks. And Elijah Wilkinson? Look, the guy has been a pleasant surprise most of this season. We all expected him to struggle week after week, and he actually held his own until Sunday night. Sunday night, he played exactly like we feared he would. He got beat repeatedly, and when your tackle is getting worked like that, it creates a domino effect across the entire offensive line. You want to know the craziest part? San Francisco didn't even do anything exotic. They ran basic fronts, basic pressures, and just straight up dominated us at the point of attack. That's not scheme, that's getting whipped physically, and that should concern every Falcons fan moving forward. Now let's talk about the defense, because this is where things get really concerning for the rest of our season. All year long, we've been elite at stopping the passing game. Our secondary has been locked down. Our pass rush has been generating pressure. Opposing quarterbacks have been uncomfortable all season. That part of our defense? Still solid. But the run defense? Falcons Nation, we got exposed. Christian McCaffrey, and I hate giving that man credit, but I have to keep it real, absolutely cooked us. 24 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that doesn't even include the 72 receiving yards he added. The man was playing basketball out there and we were the court he was dribbling on. Here's what makes this loss even more frustrating. We literally watched the Bills make this same mistake last week. Buffalo moved away from James Cook for no reason, and we survived because of their coaching error. Kyle Shanahan watched that film and said, "I'm not making that mistake." He ran the ball right down our throats over and over again, and we had no answer. They ran it up the middle. They ran it outside. They ran it off tackle. It didn't matter. We couldn't stop it. And when you can't stop the run, you can't control the game. They dictated tempo, controlled time of possession, and made us one-dimensional on offense. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is actually a ray of hope in all this darkness. We had 2 defensive linemen who showed up and balled out despite the overall defensive struggles. Sam Roberts, where did this dude even come from? The guy we literally poached from Carolina's practice squad has been flashing for 2 straight weeks now. He's getting pressure on quarterbacks, he's disrupting the run game when he's in there, and Jeff Ulbrich clearly trusts him because he's getting major snaps. And Zach Harrison? This young man is making serious strides. He opened the game with a sack, consistently made plays throughout, and capped his night with a massive tackle for loss. Yeah, McCaffrey bounced back from it, but Harrison did his job. He's developing into exactly what we hoped he'd become, a complete defensive lineman who can rush the passer and stop the run. So we've got pieces. We've got talent. But we need to figure out this run defense fast, because guess who's watching this film? Every team on our schedule. And they're all licking their chops knowing they can run it right down our throats. Now, as if this game wasn't already a nightmare, we've got a potential disaster brewing at linebacker. Divine Deablo had to leave the game early with a forearm injury and never returned. And let me tell you something, Falcons Nation, we all learned real quick just how valuable Deablo has been to this defense. J.D. Bertrand came in to replace him, and it was rough. The kid was late on plays, struggled with his eyes, ran himself out of position multiple times. It wasn't his fault, he's not ready for that role, and he was thrust into a situation he couldn't handle. But here's the scary part, if Deablo's injury is serious, we're in trouble. Troy Anderson needs to come out of hiding immediately. We cannot afford to have a liability at that position moving forward, not with the schedule we've got coming up. This is the kind of injury that can derail a season if we're not careful. We need Deablo back fast, or we need Anderson to step up right now. So here's where we're at, Falcons Nation. We just got embarrassed on Monday Night Football. Our coaching has concerning patterns. Our offensive line got dominated. Our run defense got exposed. We got robbed by the officials. And we might have a major injury crisis brewing at linebacker. But you know what? We've also got a tight end who just showed he can be an elite weapon. We've got young defensive linemen who are developing into studs. And we've still got the talent to turn this around. This loss hurts. It's supposed to hurt. But it's not season-ending. The question is, how do we respond? Do we fold under the pressure, or do we come back hungry? Because I'm telling you right now, every team on our schedule just watched this film. They know our weaknesses. They know they can run on us. They know they can pressure our offensive line. And they're going to try to do exactly what San Francisco did. So Raheem Morris and this coaching staff have some serious soul-searching to do. They need to figure out why this team can't maintain consistency. They need to fix this run defense immediately. And they need to find a way to protect our young quarterback, because if he keeps taking hits like he did Sunday night, we're going to have bigger problems than just wins and losses. The good news? We've got time to fix this. The bad news? Time runs out fast in the NFL, and we're already staring at must-win games coming up. I'll be here breaking down every move this team makes, every adjustment, every game. Because Falcons Nation deserves the truth, not sugar-coated analysis. Drop a comment and let me know, do you still believe in this team? Or are we headed for another disappointing season? Let's talk about it. Rise up. And let's get this fixed before it's too late. Go Falcons!